Funding for Scholastic Scrimmage is provided by the Air Products Foundation. The foundation is supported by donations from Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated as a charitable organization whose contributions provide support for educational, cultural, health, and community programs in the Lehigh Valley. The series is also made possible by Channel 39 School Services participating districts.
WLVT-TV presents Scholastic Scrimmage, a weekly program featuring teams from Lehigh Valley High Schools in a contest of quick recall. Tonight's teams are from Jim Thorpe Area High School and Pius 10 High School. Your host for Scholastic Scrimmage is Harry Price.
Good evening and welcome to Scholastic Scrimmage. We'll meet the teams and the coaches, then we'll begin the contest. From Pius 10 High School, John Paul Gower is a sophomore. Jennifer Reedy is a junior. Michael Serino is the captain, and Michael is a senior. And we have Angela Ruggiero, who is also a senior. The coach is Dr. Kathleen Steele, head of the science department. From Jim Thorpe High School, Tim Warren, sophomore. Captain Lou Moyer, senior. Chris Bott is a senior, and Rich Snyder is a junior. The coach is Jim Hawes, who is teacher of mathematics and computer science. Channel 39 is pleased to announce that at the conclusion of the series, after the championship contest, the Air Products Foundation will present a $1,500 scholarship award to the championship high school and a $750 scholarship award to the runner-up high school. Both awards will be made in the names of the two Scholastic Scrimmage teams. Remember, the answers to the questions on Scholastic Scrimmage require rapid recall of factual information and are not necessarily indicative of academic training. The rules for the contest are as follows. On toss-up questions, you'll be given 10 points for each correct answer, and 10 points will be deducted for an incorrect response. If you answer incorrectly, then the opposing team will have an opportunity to answer without penalty. They're going to receive 5 points for a correct answer in this situation. Of course, each correct answer to a toss-up question gives you the opportunity to answer a bonus question without penalty. Team members may confer only on the bonus questions, and the answers to these questions should be given to me by the two team captains, Lou and Michael. A buzzer will signal the end of the contest. If it sounds while a question is being asked, the game stops. If the buzzer goes off while you're answering, however, you will be permitted to complete your answer, but no bonus questions will be asked. Are there any questions? If not, we'll begin our contest with our first toss-up. We're looking at a 10-point bonus. Here it is. Toss-up. What country is called the land of the Incas? It's Jim Thorpe. Lou.
Peru?
Correct. The Inca Empire was founded in the Peruvian Andes about 1200 A.D. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer, Lou, for you and the team. For 5 points each, name the two countries that border Nepal. Lou.
China and India?
You are correct on both counts. Going for a 10-pointer, toss-up. In which mountains and in which state did Rip Van Winkle, a Washington Irving character, live? Pius 10, Michael.
New York State and the Catskill Mountains.
Correct. Bonus 10-pointer, Michael. For 5 points each, identify the following, each of which begins with the letter C. The cloth insignia in the shape of the letter V. Michael?
No response.
It would be chevron, like a sergeant's stripes. Second one, the Italian adventurer whose name today means a noted lover. Michael?
Casanova?
Correct. You have 5 out of a possible 10. Toss-up, looking at a 10-point bonus. For 10 points, name the first antibiotic to be discovered. Jim Thorpe. Lou.
Penicillin?
Correct. 1928 by an English bacteriologist, Alexander Fleming. Bonus 10-pointer. Multiple choice for you and the team, Lou. Identify the incorrect, again, the incorrect statement from the following. Transmutation of the elements was a goal of the alchemists, or occurs in ordinary chemical reactions, or was first achieved by Ernest Rutherford, or occurs in some nuclear reactions. Lou?
Gold, the alchemist?
No, again, I wanted an incorrect statement. Transmutation of the elements, the one that's incorrect, occurs in ordinary chemical reactions. It does not. Here we're going for a 10-pointer. It's a toss-up, and I'm going to be somewhat demanding. I want the right answer on this, in other words. I want you to simplify the square root of the quantity x squared. The square root, I'm looking for the principal square root of x squared. I was looking for the absolute value of x. Then it doesn't matter whether I didn't want the negative square root. It forces it to be a non-negative value. Absolute value of x. Going for a 10-point bonus. Toss up. For what U.S. government organization do the initials N as in Nevada, SC stand? NSC. Pius 10, Michael.
National Security Council?
Correct. And your bonus, a 10-pointer. In this series of questions, Michael and team, worth 5 points apiece, I'll name a river, and you name a state capital on that river. Not near it, but on that river. The first one, Missouri River. Michael?
Jackson?
Incorrect. Jefferson City, Missouri, Bismarck, North Dakota, or Pierre, South Dakota. Helena, Montana is near but not on. Second one, the Mississippi River. Michael?
Baton Rouge?
Correct. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And St. Paul, Minnesota is also a capital on the Mississippi. You got 5 out of 10. Here's our toss-up. I want you to identify the Russian author of the play The Cherry Orchard. Pius 10, Jennifer.
Anton Chekhov.
You are correct, Jennifer. Probably his best-known play. Here's your bonus, a 15-pointer for the team for Pius 10. For 5 points each, complete each of the following titles with the name of a fruit. First one, A Clockwork Blank by Anthony Burgess. Michael?
No response.
It would be A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. The second one, A Blank in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. No response. It would be A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, published in 1961. Here's your last one. A Few Blank from Thistles by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Michael?
No response.
No response again. It would be A Few Figs from Thistles by Edna St. Vincent Millay. It's a collection of poetry. You have no points on the bonus. We're going to our next toss-up. It's the most common physical disability in the United States. It's a disease of the connective tissues causing inflammation of one or more joints and related tissues. Name it. Jim Thorpe, Lou.
Rheumatism?
Incorrect. John Paul.
Arthritis?
You are correct. You got 5 on the rebound. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer for 5 points each. Identify each of the following. Michael and team, the number of ounces in 16 drams. Again, I wanted the number of ounces in 16 drams. A dram is 1/8 of an ounce, so the answer would be 2 ounces. The second one, the number of pounds in 32 ounces. Michael?
2.
Correct. 5 points. Here's your toss-up. It's going to be in mathematics. Now listen carefully. Solve for x if the absolute value of the sum of x and 2, the absolute value of the sum of x and 2 is 4. Pius 10, Angela.
Positive 2 and negative 2.
Incorrect. Over to Jim Thorpe. Toss-up, no conferring. Rich.
6 and a negative 2.
No, it would be 2 is one correct, and a negative 6 is the other correct. Okay? Going for a 15-point bonus. Toss-up. Of which country was Kurt Waldheim elected president? Jim Thorpe, Lou.
Austria.
Correct. In 1986, Kurt Waldheim. Here's your bonus, 15-pointer. Identify the countries served by each of the following leaders. The first one, Erich Honecker.
No
Lou?
response.
No response. He's the Secretary General of the Communist Party in East Germany. East Germany is the correct answer. The next, David Lang.
No response.
No response again. It's New Zealand. He's the Prime Minister. And finally, Andreas Papandreou.
No response.
No response. It would be Greece. Again, the Prime Minister. Going for a 15-point bonus. Toss up. In which novel, by which author, does Tom, an adopted baby boy, grow up to pursue his true love, Sophia Western? It's Tom Jones. The History of Tom Jones, a foundling by Henry Fielding, first published in 1749. Tom Jones. Another toss-up. It's on the monitor. The early 1960s ushered in a new modern art movement characterized by painted images of common objects and Roy Lichtenstein's comic strip paintings, an example of which is being shown on your monitor. Andy Warhol is probably the best-known artist in this movement. What name is given to this particular art movement? It's pop art. We call it pop art. And Lichtenstein is one of the foremost exponents of pop art, and that's titled George Washington. Here's your toss-up, going for a 15-pointer, and I want you to fill in the blank. You try to burn sugar with a match, but it only melts. Then you put some ashes on the sugar. Now you find that it actually burns. Therefore, the ashes served as a blank in the experiment. Pius 10, Michael.
Catalyst.
Correct. Bonus, Michael, for you and the team. For 5 points each, give the country of origin of each of the following horses or ponies. First one, Appaloosa. Michael.
France.
That would be the United States. The Appaloosa was developed essentially by the Nez Perce Indians out west. The second one, Clydesdale. Michael.
American.
No, that's Scotland, developed during the mid-18th century in Scotland. And finally, the Percheron. Michael?
No response.
That would be France. It's named after a section in France called Perche. We're going to take a halftime break now with the score at half. 50 for Pius 10 and 30 for Jim Thorpe. John Paul Gower, if you would tell us about your family, then we'll go around to all the other contestants, please.
My father's a school administrator. My mom's a GED teacher and a student nurse at community college. I have a 14-year-old brother who's a freshman at Penargil High School, and I have a 3-year-old brother who just stays home.
Thank you, John Paul. Jennifer Reedy.
My mother is the computer secretary at Our Lady Mount Carmel School, and my father is the operations manager at Pennsylvania American Water Company.
Thank you, Jennifer. Michael Serino, the captain.
My father is a letter carrier in Bangor. My mother is a secretary, and I have a younger sister who is a sophomore at Pius.
Thanks, Michael. And finally, Angela Ruggiero.
My father works at the Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission. My mother is a housewife. I have an older sister and a younger brother.
Thanks, Angela, and thanks to Pius 10. Let's go over to Jim Thorpe and begin with Tim Warren.
My father is a pastor. My mother's a registered nurse, and I have an 11-year-old brother in 6th grade back at Jim Thorpe.
Thanks, Tim. Lou Moyer, the captain.
My mother's in sales, and my father's a worker for the Tobian Army Depot, and I have a younger brother who's a sophomore at Jim Thorpe.
Thanks, Lou. Chris Bott.
My father's a youth counselor for Concern. My mother's a project coordinator for an asbestos abatement company. I have a brother, Charles, who's a freshman at Princeton University, and a younger brother, Eric, in 7th grade.
Thank you very much, Chris. And finally, Rich Snyder.
My mother's a teacher at Northern Lehigh, and
My stepfather was a chief purchasing agent at General Motors, who's now retired.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks to Jim Thorpe and to Pius 10. Again, the score at half is 50 for Pius and 30 for Jim Thorpe. Very close contest. We'll begin the second half with the toss-up. We're preparing for a 10-point bonus. Let's begin. Identify the largest country and area in Western Europe. This country ranks second to Russia in area among all the European nations. Jim Thorpe, Rich.
France.
Correct. France leads Spain, and I think Sweden comes in third. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer. France recognized Vietnam as an independent republic within the French Union in 1946. But this arrangement was not satisfactory to the Vietnamese communist leader named what? Lou?
Ho Chi Minh.
Correct. You got your 10. Toss-up, going for a 15-pointer. In which Shakespearean comedy do Valentine and Proteus, two friends from another Italian city, meet in Milan? It's the Two Gentlemen of Verona. Another toss-up. We saw an example of the following last week on TV News. In the southern part of what state are brush fires often fanned by hot, dry, easterly? Pius 10, Michael.
California.
Correct. By hot, dry, easterly winds called the Santa Ana winds. And they come off the desert, and it is California. Bonus 10-pointer, Michael. For you and the team, on what continent would you find a strong and cold, dry wind called a mistral, M-I-S-T-R-A-L? Michael?
Australia.
Not Australia, it's Europe, really southern Europe. It's an alpine wind blowing from the Ebro River in northeast Spain to the Gulf of Genoa. Going for a 10-point bonus, toss-up. It's on the monitor. If f of x is equal to x cubed minus x minus 6, what is the value of f of a negative 1? Pius 10, Angela.
-4.
Not a -4. Over to Jim Thorpe. Tim.
0.
Not 0. It's a -6. Again, f of a -1 for that expression is -6. Another toss-up going for a 10-pointer. Her Christian name was Rebecca, but her first given name meant playful one. Lured aboard ship and held captive, she fell mutually in love with a man named John, married him in 1614, but died of smallpox in 1617, waiting to return to her native America. Name this daughter of an Indian chief. Jim Thorpe, Chris.
Pocahontas.
Correct. Mrs. Rolfe. Mrs. John Rolfe. 10-point bonus. I'll name some tourist attractions, Lou, and for 5 points each, you name the states. First, the Painted Desert. Lou?
Arizona.
Correct. Carlsbad Caverns.
California.
No, it's not California. Southeastern New Mexico. I was looking for. You got 5 out of 10. Here we're going for a 15-point bonus. Toss up. Change one word in the following sentence to make it read correctly. The presence of many strangers were observed in the marketplace. Pius 10, Jennifer.
The presence of many strangers was?
You are correct. Was observed in the marketplace. One agreement of subject and verb. Here's your bonus, a 15-pointer, Michael. For 5 points each, identify each of the following concerning New York City. First one, the famous concert hall near Central Park. Michael?
Radio City.
No, it's Carnegie Hall we're looking for. The second, the largest museum. Michael?
Museum of Natural History.
No, it's the Metropolitan Museum of Art is the largest museum. And the third, America's largest cathedral. Michael?
St. Patrick's.
No, it's the Episcopal Cathedral of St. John the Divine. We'll go on to another toss-up. It's a listening toss-up. I want you to listen to the excerpt of a choral composition. Now, the segment you just heard was taken from the Magnificat for 10 points, and from the following: was it composed by Brahms, Bach, Vivaldi, or Handel? It would be Johann Sebastian Bach, again the Magnificat, and first produced in 1723. Going for a 10-point bonus. Toss up. In what year did the U.S. enter World War I? Jim Thorpe, blue.
1917.
Correct. April 6, 1917, the U.S. declared war on Germany. We had troops over there in late June. Bonus 10-pointer. Arrange these major Civil War battles in chronological order. I want the earliest given first. Siege of Vicksburg, the first Battle of Bull Run, and the third one is Shiloh. Lou?
Bull Run, Shiloh, and Vicksburg.
You are correct. The first Battle of Bull Run was July 1861. Shiloh was April 1862, and Vicksburg a little more than a year later, in May to July of 1863. Toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. What adjective describes that property owned in common by a husband and wife, such as a house, cars, furniture, or boat? Jim Thorpe, Chris.
State.
Not a state. Over to Pius 10, toss-up. Jennifer.
Marital assets.
Not marital assets. It's community property. Another toss-up. Going for a 10-pointer. Which U.S. state is known as Old Dominion, so named by King Charles? Jim Thorpe, blue.
Virginia.
Correct. It was named that by King Charles II because it remained loyal to the crown during the English Civil War of the 17th century. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer. For 5 points each, Lou and team. Identify each of the following U.S. states from the nickname. First, Old Line State.
Maryland.
Correct. Old Man of the Mountain State.
New Hampshire.
It is New Hampshire. It's called more often, I think, the Granite State, but it's named after a rock formation in Franconia, one of their wonders. Going for a 10-point bonus, here's your toss-up. Name the author of the famous Uncle Remus stories. Jim Thorpe, blue.
Brothers Grimm.
Incorrect. Over to Pius. And no response from Pius. Would be Joel Chandler Harris from Georgia. Another toss-up. Give the name for the tiny, glistening drops of moisture that condense after a warm day and appear during the night in little drops. Pius 10, Michael.
Dew.
Correct. On little drops on plants and blades of grass. It is dew. Here's your bonus, Michael. 15-pointer. For 5 points each, identify each of the following. The meaning of dew, D-E-W, in dew line, the system that protects the U.S. and Canada against air attack from the north. It would be distant early warning line, DEW. The second, the meaning of NORAD, N-O-R-A-D, the center that operates the dew line. No response. It would be the North American Air Defense Command, North American Air Defense. The third, the temperature at which moisture in the air begins to condense. That would be dew point, the dew point. Going for a 10-pointer. Here's your toss-up. You're going to see it there on the monitor. What is the value of the discriminant? What is the value of the discriminant of that expression, 9x squared plus 1 minus 6x? That's a little funny because the 6x follows the 1 and not the 9x squared. So b squared minus 4ac would be the answer to this giving us 36 minus 36 or 0, where a, b, and c are coefficients of the x squared, the x, and the constant. Another toss-up, going for a 15-point bonus. A group of Americans known as the Abraham Lincoln Brigade played an active role in what Civil War? Spanish Civil War. Members of the brigade were from many countries, such as the U.S., who fought in that war. Here's your toss-up, going for a 15-pointer. What name is given to the year 46 B.C., the year to which Julius Caesar assigned 445 days in order to realign the calendar with the seasons? Pius 10, John Paul. John Paul?
Year. The calendar year?
No, and I think that's the final buzzer we're not going to go over. It's the year of confusion. Again, 46 B.C. We're going to take a look at the final score, which is 85 for Jim Thorpe and 60 for Pius 10. Michael and Angela, we want to wish you success for the remainder of this academic year and on into college. John Paul, you're young. Jennifer, we're going to see you back here again, we hope, next year, too. We wish you a happy holiday season. Jim Thorpe, we congratulate you. We're going to see you back here again in the second round. It'll be in March, and you're going to be going against Liberty High School, which won last week's contest. Next week, we have contestants from Northampton Area High School and Whitehall High School. This is Harry Price. Thank you for being with us, and good night.
Funding for Scholastic Scrimmage is provided by the Air Products Foundation. The foundation is supported by donations from Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated as a charitable organization whose contributions provide support for educational, cultural, health, and community programs in the Lehigh Valley. The series is also made possible by Channel 39 school services participating districts.